The story of a true warrior. Assalamu alaikum, friends. You're listening to YBR, The Sword and the Story, and I'm your host and friend, Shariq. Our channel aims to bring you stories that touch your heart, awaken your soul, and ignite the bravery within you. Today, we're sharing a story filled with courage, sacrifice, and the colors of reality. This is the story of a true warrior who faced every challenge in life, not just accepting them, but conquering them to become an example for the world. This story will offer you a new lesson, a new inspiration, and take you on a journey that will leave a deep impact on your heart and mind. So, let's get started. Welcome to YBR, The Sword and the Story. Today, we begin the story of a warrior named Zain Malik. Zain was born in the 1980s in a small village in Pakistan called Khorasan. Nestled in the shadow of mountains, this village was a cradle of hard work and tough living. Zain's father, Malik Aslam, was a retired soldier and a symbol of integrity for the village. From a young age, he taught Zain that there is no greater strength than courage and truth. Zain's childhood was far from easy. The village lacked electricity and water, and people often struggled to survive. Zain's home had only 2 rooms, and he had 3 sisters. He learned his first lessons of hard work and patience at home when he was just 10 years old. His father passed away, a devastating blow for Zain. His mother, Bibi Khadija, took charge of the household. But Zain resolved to become the pillar of support for his family. Zain continued his education while also starting work in the village fields. Every morning, before sunrise, as he headed to the fields, a fire burned in his heart, a dream of a better life. He had heard stories of his father, who fought for the country in the 1965 war. These stories inspired Zain. He would say, "If my father gave his life for the country." At the age of 80, Zain decided to join the Pakistan Army. This decision was not just a career choice, but a promise to his country and his people. The villagers admired his choice, but were also worried. The border region where Zain lived had always faced challenges with peace. For Zain, however, this was an opportunity to test his courage. Zain's first training camp was a trial in itself. Rigorous training, long night duties, and freezing cold winds only strengthened his resolve. His instructors would say, "Zain, you have the fire of a true warrior." During training, Zain not only built his physical strength, but also sharpened his mind. He learned the principles of strategy, leadership, and teamwork, which would serve him in the journey ahead. One day, in the final days of training, Zain was assigned a mission, a simulated operation. Zain not only brought his team to safety, but also devised a plan that left his seniors astonished. This was his first proof that he was not just a soldier, but could also be a leader. One night, while Zain was on patrol with his team, they were suddenly attacked. The enemy took advantage of the darkness and opened heavy fire. Zain, along with his 3 comrades, was stationed at a small outpost. Recalling his training, Zain immediately provided cover for his team. He called for backup on his radio, but he knew help would take time to arrive. He ordered his men to hold their positions and move to a dangerous vantage point himself. This decision was a matter of life and death for Zain. But one thought dominated his mind. I won't let my men die. He picked up his rifle and launched a counterattack from one side to divert the enemy's. During this, one of his comrades, Junaid, was injured. Risking his own life, Zain rescued Junaid and brought him to safety. By the time backup arrived, Zain had successfully forced the enemy to retreat. After this incident, Zain's seniors awarded him the title Shahina. But for Zain, saving his comrades' lives meant more than any title. He wrote to his village, I have honored my father's name, and now it's my responsibility to do even more for my country. Following this mission, Zain's name became well known in army circles. His seniors made him part of a special task force dedicated to maintaining peace along the border. For Zain, this was a new challenge. He not only had to fight the enemy but also win the hearts of the local people. He collaborated with villagers to plan a small school where children could receive education. Zain's efforts weren't limited to the battlefield. He built friendships with the locals, listened to their problems, and convinced them that the army was there to support them, not work against them. When a water shortage struck a village, Zain and his team built a small dam, providing clean water to the residents. Though it was a small act, it earned Zain a place in the hearts of the people. Zain's team consisted of 12 soldiers, and their plan was to attack an enemy base under the cover of night. However, the mission was far from easy. The base was nestled between mountains, and reaching it was a challenge in itself. Zain meticulously planned with his team, going over every detail and assigning roles to each soldier. He said, "We are here for each other. If we stay united, no force can defeat us." On the day of the mission, as Zain and his team approached the base, they discovered that the enemy had been tipped off about their arrival. It was a trap. Zain quickly adapted his strategy. He split his team into 2 groups, one to distract the enemy. Zain himself led the assault group. In the heat of battle, Zain kept his team united. Despite heavy enemy fire, he motivated his soldiers to stay strong. At one point, Zain's radio malfunctioned, cutting off communication with backup. But he didn't give up. Using his sharp mind, he employed an old military tactic, creating a diversion near the enemy base. Zain and his team successfully captured the base, but during the operation, his close friend, Captain Bilal, Zain carried Bilal on his shoulders to safety. When the mission succeeded, Zain was awarded but for him, the greatest victory was saving his friend's life. After this mission, Zain's name became renowned not only in the army but across the country. People called him Sarhatsi. For Zain, however, it was not about fame, but about his passion. to serve his country. He returned to his village and established a trust to support retired soldiers and their families. Zain's mission was to fight for his country, not just on the battlefield, but in every sphere of life. Zain often had to go on long postings, leaving Aisha alone at home. One day, when Zain returned from a mission, he learned that Aisha had been diagnosed with cancer. This news hit him like a storm. He had faced many battles in his life, but this was a different kind of fight, one where guns or strategies were of no use. Zain took leave from his duties and focused on Aisha's treatment. He spent a large portion of his savings on her care, but the doctors warned that her chances of recovery were slim. Zain refused to give up. He gave Aisha constant encouragement, accompanied her on hospital visits, and reassured her that he was by her side. Aisha would ask, "Zain, will you sacrifice your career for me?" Zain's reply was, "You are my life, and what is a career without life?" During this time, Zain received a call for another mission, a major opportunity in an international operation. But Zain chose to stay with Aisha. He told his seniors, "I have always fought for my country, but now my battle is at home." Aisha's treatment continued, but her health didn't improve. One night, as Zain sat with her in the hospital, Aisha held his hand and said, "Zain, now let me go and return to serving your country." That night, Aisha passed away. For Zain, this was the greatest sorrow of his life, but he held on to Aisha's. He resumed his career, but now with a new purpose. He decided to fulfill Aisha's dream of transforming lives through education. He built a school in his village where poor children could receive free education. The school was named after Aisha, and for Zain, it was a continuation of his love for her. Zain's mission was to ensure that his village, and beyond that, his country, progressed through education and humanity. He started a program for retired soldiers, providing them with vocational training to succeed in civilian life. This work not only transformed his village but also brought a new vibrancy to the entire border region. One day, while teaching history to children at the school, Zain found an old letter written by his father during the 1965 war. The letter read, "Zain, if you're reading this, remember that a warrior's life is not just for himself." Zain pinned the letter on the school's notice board to inspire every child. Thanks to Zain, a new spirit emerged in his village. People began working not just for their own lives, but for each other. Zain spent his final days at the inauguration of a community center, where he told his villagers, "I've fought battles, loved deeply, and worked for education in my life. This is my legacy, and you are its guardians." In 2020, Zain passed away, but his name and work lived on. Aisha Memorial School continues to thrive, educating thousands of children every year. The people of his village call him Sarhad Khatner, because he not only fought for his country, but also became a beacon of hope for his people. Zain Malik's story is an example that teaches us a true warrior can change the world, not just with a sword or gun. He showed that courage, love, and education can overcome. This story reflects the mission of YBR Warrior's wisdom: to awaken the warrior within us and do something better for our country and people. Shariq and the YB are the sword and the story team. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Friends, if you liked Zain's story, please subscribe to our channel. YBR, the sword and the story. Like the video and share it with your friends. Hit the bell icon for our next story to stay updated. Let us know in the comments which part of Zain's story you liked the most and what story you'd like to hear next. Let's build a better world together. Watch, listen, and learn. Thank you.